Hey guys, it's Caesar.
And I'm Carla.
Welcome to another episode of Carla and Caesar's Modern Life.
Episode number 18.
That's right, 18. We're back in here. Yeah, man, we're in June right now. We're in the middle of, well, not technically, but I mean, it's already summer. Like, if any, like
Pretty much halfway through the year.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. Halfway through the year. And we're just trying to enjoy the summer. So we're here bringing you another episode. And yeah, so we'll start with the life updates. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. Just been working a lot as usual, but I've been good. Just trying to make the most of my days off too.
Yeah.
There's so much that I want to do, but yeah.
No, yeah, it makes sense. Like sometimes the days can go by so quick too.
Yeah.
When, like, especially when you have a day off, you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and this, and all of a sudden the day's over.
Yeah.
You only did 1 out of the 5 things you wanted to do.
Yeah, and I feel like especially because right now my days off are not back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up having one day off in the middle of the week, and then sometimes for example, this week I have Saturday off because we're doing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like you just have to like make the most of the time off that you have, and so I need to get better at my time management for sure. Yeah.
No, and I have the same problem when I have like too much time off, where I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And then you don't end up.
Or you feel like, oh, I have the whole day, like I can do it later, and then you put everything off till later. At least for me.
Yeah, and then it's later, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to manage that better. Like today, that before we recorded this, I finished all the videos for the Rodriguez show.
Nice.
So then I wouldn't feel like I was behind on 2 shows or something like that. So now I'm gonna try to edit this as soon as I can, and that'll be good.
Nice.
So I'm not like, oh man, I have to do this today or something. Like, not dreading it if I just planned it out. Yeah. So one of the things you're still working on is, you said you shot a video last week that you're still editing.
Oh yeah, I think I shot it a couple weeks ago now, because I talked about it last week. I already had the videos recorded. I just need to put it together. So I talked about it last week, but I'm still working on it. Yeah, just one of those things that like come up that I'm like, okay, like I've been thinking about this, let me just do it. And I'm trying to not let things like that pop up that like make me feel inspired to do something. I try to not let too much time pass before I get going on it, because then it kind of like fizzles out, and then I'm not excited about it anymore, and then I don't do it. So
yeah, you gotta keep the momentum going.
Right. And do it like when I feel inspired,
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing it when you finish it, and I hope
Thanks.
that you can accomplish more of the stuff you want to do, more creatively and stuff like that. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us this week?
No, I just wanted to give a shout out to my coworkers who have mentioned watching or listening to the show. I appreciate you guys.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. And also shout out to Marissa, whose birthday was on Friday and who also watches the show.
Nice.
Yeah, all our friends and family who have like shown us support, like thank you so much. And yeah, I just wanted to say, I just was curious like to see if like obviously like our friends and family know us, but I wonder if there's any people on here that don't know that much about us. And so just let us know if there's anything you want to know about us, or because right now we're talking about like current
our current situation lives. But if you want to talk about the past, so you can do that. But you can send us an email at advice@carlandcaesar.com, or you can just comment on the YouTube videos here if you're watching a YouTube video. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it however you can.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that helps us out a lot. So that was it for your week update.
Yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah, so for me, so this like we talked about the past couple weeks, I turned 30 last week, and this is the first episode we're doing after my birthday. So I was excited. I had a little get together on this past Saturday a week ago, and I did have to go through some anxiety, stuff that I went through when people, because I put together up like, okay, these are the people that I want to show up, and I invited all these people, and then when some people told me they couldn't make it, I took it too personally, I feel like, and it was a hard lesson to learn, like, all right, I have to just not take things like so hard, not feel like everybody's attacking me or something against me or something like that. And it was not easy to work through that in that moment. I mean, it was right up until before, we were going to go to the party that I had planned. I was just not feeling great. And I think it wasn't, and you were telling me like we were having a conversation about it on the way, but it wasn't until the next day where you were saying that you have to enjoy like what's in front of you, because if you're not going to enjoy it if you're in your head about it. So I felt like that really like resonated, and ever since, like you told me, that I have been trying to not, live in my head so much in that aspect. Like not worry about, how is this gonna go before it even happens. Just have like no expectations, but like have less be more flexible with what I'm thinking, and like how I plan things out. But then I was able to turn it off by the time I got there, because I was like, you know what, I'm here. Like I told myself that this is going to be the year where I focus on having fun and having a good time at this when it's my birthday, and I did exactly that. So
that's good.
Yeah, so I just want to say that it's easy to like say like, I'm doing the work, I'm going to therapy, or trying to do best, but there's always moments where it can make you regress like way back, a bunch of steps back that you thought you were already past. And so it's just a matter of every day trying to do better than the day before. Because if you're building up to like, hey, I've been doing well, and then something happens where you have an anxiety attack or something like that, then you feel like, you just failed yourself. But it's not. Like I've had so many good days before that and after that
right.
One day or one moment is not going to ruin everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And to be able, it's like important to be able to like also look back and like be kind to yourself, and not like be hard on yourself when you do have those days where it feels like you just backtracked a ton. It's like important to be kind to yourself, and just keep practicing, because that's all you can do. I feel like that too. Like I'll do the work, and then like I get to a point, and then like something, and who knows, like I feel like organizing a party is stressful, right? So maybe it was that, like the anxiety of like leading up to the party, like maybe that made you like, I guess, backtrack or regress. So it could maybe be like your mindset, but I guess I just want to say like I'm here to support you in like any way that I can.
I appreciate that. And it's I have to make that clear though, because a lot of people think that like, you're going to rely on your spouse to kind of fix everything, and that's not what we're trying to do for each other either. Like, no, that there's a lot of work that I have to do in myself too, right. And it's like, however you can help, that's good,
and vice versa. Yeah.
So that was it. That was all I had to say. Should we get into the scenarios?
Yeah, I guess I would just want to add that like just trying to be present and in the moment is really hard, and like it's something that I struggle with, like trying to do it like on a daily basis. Like I feel like I have bursts like throughout the day where I am like fully present and in the moment, but it's so easy to like start to like let your head just wander, and like it's a practice, like trying to bring your awareness back to the moment if that's what you're trying to do.
No, it is. It's practice, like you said. It's not easy it's something you have to always, make sure you're checking yourself that you're doing, because it's easy to fall into the other patterns. Like it's so comfortable to be, and I find that it's so comfortable to be angry or bitter about something. It's for me, because it's like, then you don't have to like, you don't have to open yourself up in that sense. You're just like, I'm angry or something. It's a lot harder to face your feelings and try to get out of it than it is to just stay in it and just be bitter about it,
Yeah, but I don't mean like suppressing either.
Well, no, I mean you still have to feel what you feel, and that's what I was saying about balance. Like, if you're upset at something, like you let yourself feel upset, but then as long as you're not taking it out on anybody or any person about it, then you see like, is this reasonable? Like, is this justified? And sometimes it is, and so you have to feel it, and sometimes it's not, and you have to let it go. But you can't suppress any of that stuff either. All right, so let's do it. Are we ready to get into the first scenario here?
Yeah.
You want to start?
Sure. I am 100% being petty here, but curious if I am actually wrong. Most of my husband's family thinks I'm being childish and need to let the past go, as my sister-in-law can't afford this, but her behavior towards us in the past makes me feel this is warranted. 2 years ago, my house burned to the ground after being struck by lightning. Thankfully, it was during the day, so our 3 kids were at school and my husband and I were at work. We lost everything, but we were safe. It took almost 11 months for the insurance to pay out. The insurance covered 1 month worth of hotel stays but after that we were made to fend for ourselves, and the only option we had was to move in with my sister-in-law. She tells us we can have her spare room and her office space since she used neither of the rooms, and her stipulations were we needed to purchase all of our own food and pay her $100 a week. By week 3, all of that changed. She then decides we need to pay her $250 a week and we can only use 1 room. So all 5 of us were crammed into the smallest room she had, which was the size of a glorified closet space and didn't even fit a twin bed and a small dresser. So we lived out of trash bags and slept on the floor. We're close to $1,000 a month some months and still had to purchase all of our own food despite her claiming my children on her food stamps. She also had no bills outside of her land tax, which is $450 a year, electric and heated oil, which she hardly ever filled. So we were essentially paying her so she could do leisure activities. It was the worst 8 months of my life.
3 months ago, my grandmother decided that she wanted to go to an assisted living after a fall and transferred the deed of her house to me and basically said it was mine now. It is a 5-bedroom farmhouse. My boys insisted on sharing a room, so we had 2 extra bedrooms. Well, my sister-in-law lost her house last month due to not paying her land tax for several years and asked if her and her stepdaughter could stay with us until they get enough money to move down south. I said, sure, 1 bedroom, $800 a month, and you have to buy and cook all your food separately because my daughter is a vegan. She looked at me like I had 10 heads and said that she and her stepdaughter should not be made to share a room when there are 2 extra rooms, and she stated she could not afford a rent of $800 a month while purchasing all of her own food on top of that. I said neither could we, but we managed to cram 5 people into a glorified closet space while you were getting $1,000 in food stamps. Take it or leave it. She decided to leave. Again, I'm being told I'm childish, so am I the jerk for this?
Wow.
Damn.
That's wild. Like, sometimes it's okay to be petty.
Yeah.
Like, what did she expect? And then I feel like they're giving her a better deal than they had.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's the same deal. It's $800 a month, and that's what she paid. But that's crazy that she didn't pay her land tax, which is $450 a year for several years. You're telling me she didn't have to pay rent or anything?
I don't think so.
So that's the bad part, is like she did something cruel to them. But like, how do you can't really get back at, you can get back at somebody, but is there something to be said about being the bigger person in this situation or no?
I mean, I feel like it's not a bad deal.
Yeah. That's true, because she gave her a bigger room than the room that, because I'm sure it's not a glorified closet space. There's enough room for the both of them. So
I mean, she didn't say if the sister-in-law can work or not, but because she didn't work before, but she didn't say she can't work. So
yeah,
I feel like $800 for a room is not unreasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know where they live, but here it's a good deal.
Yeah. No, well, and basically she's saying like, you're just giving me money to rent the room because I don't have to pay for this house. This house is already mine. Just like the land tax that you had to pay that you could have paid with the money that we were giving you, $250 a week. And, you're right. It is a better deal. My bad, because it was $200 a week, so $250 a week, so it's $1,000 a month. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It just sucks that
I don't believe in like, oh well, I had to suffer, so you should too. But like, I feel like this, or like the student debt thing, like how people think that it shouldn't get paid off for people because they had to pay theirs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
But it kind of is.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
But like what both of them did to each other wasn't good. Like the first time that she did it, when it
happened to them,
yeah, it was not.
It shouldn't have happened to them.
Yeah, and so she tried to do it back, and it's like.
So you're saying that she should be the better person, take the higher road?
Yes, but it's totally justified why she did do this. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm saying it's fair to call you a jerk for doing it, but I get why you did it, you know? So I'm not saying this is that they both were good people, because she didn't need she doesn't need the $800 a month. She just could have let her borrow the room and then been like, she doesn't need it. Nobody, and the lady actually did need the money that she ended up using for something else. Like, it's either you take this deal or you tell her no. Like, after the experience I had at your house, like, I don't want you to live here, you know?
Right.
But I don't want to leave you on the street.
Maybe that's why she did it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This one's tough, because at first I was like, no, like, you're doing the right thing. It's fine. Like, she did it to you. But now that we're talking about it, I'm like,
it's not really an eye for an eye in that sense. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first one that we can leave inconclusive.
No, I think we had one other one that we left inconclusive, but I forget which one it was. But yeah, so in this case, I would say you're both the assholes, I guess, if we had to say. Yeah.
I mean, I would say the person that wrote this is less of a jerk, but you still did the jerk thing by making her do all that stuff. But I mean, I can't say she didn't deserve it, the sister-in-law.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. Maybe they could negotiate something that she can't afford.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if it'll be worth it for her 1 bedroom. So we'll leave it at that, I guess. No, both of them were not great people, but I get why it happened.
Yeah.
All right, here. I'll go with the next one here. Am I the asshole for not telling a guy what I do for a living and letting him pay for my drinks during the whole evening? My friend Grace invited me to a board game bar to play and have drinks with her boyfriend, and one of their friends, Nick. We went to get drinks in pairs, Grace with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Nick and I stayed at the table and vice versa. So Nick and I had plenty of time to talk, just the two of us. Nick started the night by telling me about his recent career change and decided to quit his previous job, go to a coding boot camp, and got a job as a developer 1 or 2 months ago. He was very proud of himself and his new salary, and he told me multiple times. He never asked me what I do for work, but talked about his new job quite a lot, occasionally saying, "Sorry, you don't understand that, hahaha." During this entire evening, I never told him I had been working as a software engineer for the past 4 years, but he never asked. Honestly, I found it a bit entertaining. When it came to the drinks, he invited me to every single one. "Don't worry about it, it's not a problem with my developer salary," he said. And I told him multiple times he had to pay for my drinks, but he insisted. At the end of the night, when we were saying our goodbyes, he took out his phone to send me a friend request on Facebook. My job's listed in my profile, so that's when he realized that I'm a software engineer.
He asked me if that's true, that I'm a software engineer, and I answered yes. He asked me why I hadn't told him, and why I let him believe I was a cashier like Grace used to be. I never implied that. And why did I let him pay for everything when I probably earn more than him? I told him that he never once asked, and it was his fault, he assumed. He could have simply asked me about my job, but he only wanted to brag about his. But if he wants me to, I can pay him for the drinks. He was angry and said I made a fool out of him. I think he did that on his own, not me. But now Grace and her boyfriend are on his side too, saying that it would have cost me nothing to tell him early in the evening, and I only kept it to myself for my own entertainment. Well, I did find it entertaining, but I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. Am I the jerk?
What do you think?
I don't think she's the jerk.
No, I don't think so either. I think this guy was just talking a lot, and he wanted to show off so that she let him feel good. And then when she never even said, like, she didn't even want to ruin it by, it just happened that they were going to add each other on Facebook, and he saw it, but it was like,
obviously oblivious.
Yeah.
He never like took the opportunity to ask her about herself, and like, which I feel like what you do for a living is like
basic.
Yeah.
Like basic.
It's a big part of your life. Like, why wouldn't it come up? And like, why assume that she was just like, not just a cashier, but why did she assume she was a cashier?
Yeah. It was a weird thing that he assumed, because like she said, if she's saying what she's saying is correct, she never even like said, "Hey, I'm a cashier," or anything.
Or didn't even ask like, how do you like being a cashier? Like,
exactly.
Why would you want to get like, yeah, like she didn't really have to like explain herself if she already got like a sense of what he's like. And if he doesn't care to ask her about herself, then like go ahead and like keep talking about yourself, because it's obviously not going to happen again. Like,
yeah,
you know.
And then the whole drinks thing, like you kept insisting that you wanted to pay with your money, so why would, like, what does it matter? And it's like he was expecting her to be the same type of person to be like, well, I also want to do this, like show off as much as him. But it's like, no, that's not how people are. People don't show off how much. Like, I wouldn't, even if I just got a new job, I'd be like, I got a new job, I'm excited about it, but I want to be like, and I have an amazing new salary. Like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, not a jerk for letting him do that. I mean, I think he's a jerk because he never asked you anything about yourself.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, why are the friends siding with him?
Well, because it was probably like, I think I get what they're saying too. Like, she could have like avoided it by telling him, oh, I'm a software engineer. Or like, you're a developer, I'm an engineer. Like, oh yeah, like that could have been something. But because they liked this guy and they were trying to help him out. But I think they can see it from the other side too.
Yeah.
You know? It's just some people just like to talk about themselves more than.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, you're not the jerk.
No, I think this one's a pretty clear-cut one.
All
right, so this last one went viral on Twitter, so we had to talk about it. I'll start, and then you can take over. I'll let you know when to take over.
Okay.
So am I the asshole for not having catering at my wedding? My female, so she's a female, she's 28 years old, and her fiance, male, 30 years old, just got married 2 months ago when he had our dream wedding. Everything was perfect. I mean, everything. His parents helped us pay for a great chunk of the wedding, so we'd be debt-free, and we are so eternally grateful for that. The issue rose about a month and a half ago when my aunt started posting on Facebook about how she was disappointed with the whole ordeal, and a few guests sided with her. Background, my fiance and I are huge Disney fans, and we travel to Disney World as much as we can throughout the year. Disney is such an important part of not only us, but our marriage.
The issue was with our decision to not offer catering or bar services at our wedding due to instead routing the money towards having Minnie and Mickey at the wedding. The cost to have both Minnie and Mickey for a good chunk of time, 30 minutes, was almost exactly what our parents allotted for our catering budget. So we scheduled an appearance during our first dance and our wedding photos. Foregoing served food, though there were plenty of facilities at the venue where people could eat. My parents were still very supportive of us, but everyone else is being passive aggressive about it on Facebook. Am I the jerk?
And then to those asking if the guests were warned, we clearly outlined in the invitations that there was food available at the venue. We didn't exactly spell out every restaurant's menu, but it was certainly mentioned. There was also vending machines available throughout.
Oh my God.
For everyone saying that it's too much for 30 minutes, I want to clarify that it was 2 30-minute sessions, and it cost $2,750 for one session.
That's a lot.
So they spent nearly $6,000 of their money to get Mickey and Minnie to appear for a total of 1 hour at their wedding.
Dang.
Instead of serving their guests food.
That's a bold choice.
So as the people that always tell people do what you want, it's your wedding, what are we going to tell these people?
I feel like you can't not have food.
Yeah it's a wedding essential to feed your guests and to give them drinks. That is the least you could do if people are going to come celebrate you.
Even if you can't have an open bar, like have a bar at least.
Like it doesn't have to be completely open bar. It could just be like, hey, we only have these kind of drinks, like what you can afford. But I feel like let's put the priority wise.
Weddings are long.
Priority wise, food is number one, and then drinks. So let's not even talk about the drinks. Food is like, you need that. Like,
you're hosting a party. Part of a party is food. So I feel like they have their priorities wrong. I don't know, like, it's pretty much like the bare minimum you can do is like have food, because people went out of their way to maybe take a day off work, get you a present, maybe get clothes for themselves to attend your wedding. Like, a lot went into it. So the least you can do is feed them. I don't know.
So the reason why this went viral is because people are like, damn, these Disney fans are getting crazy. And I think
I see.
I think it is true. I think it is like, you didn't have your priorities straight. That's a ridiculous amount of money. Like, I don't care if you spent $100,000 on the whole wedding itself. $6,000 for an hour of Mickey and Minnie, like, that's too much. Like, it's especially because you didn't use the money for food. If you had given the guests food, you could have spent $1 million on Mickey and Minnie. Nobody would have cared. but you're really gonna choose this over serving all the guests. And it's hard. Like, there were certain traditions that we didn't put in our wedding, but we knew like enough to take care of the people that went.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't put on rings on each other or whatever, but that's because we knew like it's a decision that only affected us. Like, this is your decision of not including food just made everybody angry, and it made everybody like, resent the fact that they had to even be there.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
I guess it does suck that she had to find out about it the way she did. But so she said that people are being passive aggressive. Like, maybe that's true, but I don't know.
Yeah. You can't really be upset if people had that opinion, because there's bare minimums that you need to have for weddings. So what are you going to do?
Right.
So I think you are the jerk in this scenario. You are, you should have fed your guests at the wedding, and nobody would have said anything bad about you on Facebook.
It's true.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
You're kind of not the jerk, but because you did what made you happy, but I don't know. No.
Well, because I feel like there's a line. There's a do what makes you happy within reason, right? Like within.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, because like we said, like people made all this effort. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
You should have fed your guests. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think there's always like when it comes to like these things of like choose yourself or like self-care or like boundaries and stuff, it's never like so easy as one sentence of choose yourself or something like that. It's always like there's more to every situation. So if you're thinking in one dimensions of like, I'm gonna choose me, I'm gonna do what's best for me, like it is good to do that, but there's a limit and there's like certain levels where but at a certain point you have to consider other people in the decisions you make.
Right.
And then this was a case where they thought that they were trying to honor who they were by doing this, but they also kind of slighted other people, and that's where you mess up.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good way to say it.
Yeah, so that's it for this week, guys. Remember to follow us on social media. You can follow me at I am Caesar Rod. Where can they follow you? You
can follow me on Instagram, CarlelaRod89, and Planned Parenthood OC.
And you can follow the show, The Rodriguez Show, at The Rodriguez Show on Instagram, Rodriguez Show OC on Twitter, and then patreon.com/The Rodriguez Show. That's where you can support the other radio show that I do. And like I said, like and subscribe to this, share it if you can, comment, whatever you want to do, just participate. That helps us out a lot. So that's it for this week, guys. Remember to take care of yourself and each other.
Bye. Thanks for watching.